Hello everyone, welcome to Super Coaching Regulatory Bodies by Testbook. My name is Kaustubh. I'm your English educator here at Testbook for all the regulatory bodies exams, including RBI Grade B, SEBI Grade A, and NABARD exams. Now, this is a special lecture. As you can see here, we are going to discuss the Phase 2 syllabus of the SEBI Grade A exam 2024. The exam is going to happen on 31st of August. So hardly 14 days are remaining with us, and it is very essential to practice essay writing, Précis writing, and reading comprehension based questions because these questions are asked in your phase 2 part of the English paper. So we are going to discuss all three sections in this particular session. So make sure that you watch the video till the very end. Now, before going to the discussion, I would just quickly like to remind all the new guys here, those who have joined for the first time. This is my Telegram group at the rate Kaustubh Sir _ Testbook. You can join me on Telegram for all the PDFs, for all the discussions, for all the YouTube session links and etc. And you can join me by scanning this QR code as well, or there is a link in the description. You can join me from there. All right. Now, this is the information handout on the SEBI website. If you have checked the SEBI official website of SEBI, you will find that in 2021-22, SEBI had released an information handout. Basically, it does every year before the exams. And in this information handout, they have given the phase 2 part of the English section. So in the phase 2 part, there will be your paper 1, and this paper is compulsory for all the streams, irrespective of which post you are applying for. You will have to appear this part 1 paper 1, and in that paper your English is basically going to get tested. Your drafting skills are going to get tested. There are total 3 questions, and the paper consists 100 marks, and this is a 60-minute duration. So basically you will have to answer the entire paper in 1 hour. Okay, the cutoff for this is 30%. So 30 out of 100 is the cutoff, and the weightage in the final selection is 1/3, or the weightage in the phase 2 selection is 1/3 of the entire marks. All right. So this is the online examination, and this will ऑब्जेक्टिव टाइप मल्टीपल चॉइस क्वेश्चन टेस्ट जो है वो उसके बाद, मतलब ये हमारा फेज 2 आता है. फेज 1 में आपके एमसीक्यूज एंड फेज 2 में आपका डिस्क्रिप्टिव पेपर आता है. राइट. नाउ व्हाट आर द टाइप्स ऑफ क्वेश्चंस दैट आर आस्क्ड इन द एग्जाम? So SEBI also in this information handout has given certain examples, sample questions rather. They have given sample questions. This is the official information on the website of SEBI. Now these sample questions give you a good insight of what kind of questions they are expecting or you can expect. So the first question is essay writing question, and you have to write an essay on any one of the following topics in about 400 words. Now they give you 3 different topics, not necessarily related to the stock market, not necessarily related to the financial aspects of the economy, but the topics could be anything that is going on in the current affairs. For example, 3 effective measures to eradicate illiteracy in India. Explain how the measures suggested by you will be effective. Now this is not actually a very contemporary issue, but still there is a problem of illiteracy in India. About 30% people still are illiterate in many parts of the country. That is more than 30%. So what could be the effective measures? And they are asking precisely 3. They have given the number in the question itself. So you have to give 3 different measures which you think are effective in eradicating illiteracy in India, and you have to explain how these measures that are suggested by you will be effective. Now the second topic they have given as a sample question is, it is often said that computerization results in unemployment. Do you agree? Explain. Now this is a very prominent question because especially after the rise of artificial intelligence, this issue, this debate has again come to prominence. Basically the whole computerization and how machines and how AI is going to take over jobs, and it is going to result in unemployment. This whole debate is going on presently, and they are asking you your opinion. Do you agree? And if you agree yes, then you have to explain why you think it will result in unemployment, and if you think no, then also you will have to explain why you think that computerization and things like AI won't result in unemployment. So you have to explain it in detail. And then the third topic is high-rise buildings, infrastructural and environmental issues. Now this is something absolutely not related to what SEBI does. or the work profile that you are supposed to do in SEBI, right? But still they are testing whether you are reading about the environment, whether you are reading about the current issues that are going on in the environment. And one of the issues is the high rise buildings, especially in metro cities like Mumbai and Bengaluru and other cities. And basically this is a infrastructural and environmental issues, right? So what is the problem with the infrastructure and what is the problem with the environment with these high rise buildings, especially when you see those big corporate offices in the corporate districts of cities like Hyderabad, even Hyderabad, Mumbai, Pune, for example, Bengaluru, for example, right? So we are talking about these three things. Now we will discuss one of these three essays. We are going to discuss the unemployment one because it is a hot topic. It could be asked in this year's phase 2 exam as well. So we will discuss a demo, a template essay, how to write it and all those things. But before going to the essay, I would just quickly like to talk about certain points that you have to remember while writing a good essay. The first point is you have to understand the topic thoroughly. So take time to grasp the details of the essay topic. Read the title of the essay at least 2 or 3 times and try to figure out what the examiner is exactly trying to ask here. Okay, so you can identify the key terms and concepts that are going to define the scope of your essay. Before starting to write the essay, you can jot down some points on the rough paper and make a kind of roadmap in your mind where you will just think about what my essay will look like and how you can go forward with the paragraphs, what will be the introductory sentence, how am I going to talk about the history of this particular topic, and then you can think about what all paragraphs you can make. So this understanding will guide your approach and ensure that you stay relevant throughout the essay, because it is very easy to get deviated from the topic if you don't have a map or a mental map of what you are trying to write. You tend to write something which is not related to the topic, and that essay becomes very haywire and it becomes not so good to read. All right. The second point is you have to develop a clear structure. That is precisely what I was trying to say. Organize your essay in a clear and logical structure. So typically introduction that introduces the topic of your thesis or of your essay, and then you have to write the body paragraphs. Now these body paragraphs could be 3, 4, 5 in number depending on the number of points that you have and depending on the number of arguments that you want to present. And you have to present your arguments and evidence and conclusion that summarizes all your points and offer concluding thoughts. So in the body paragraphs, you have to present your arguments, you have to present some evidence if you have, you can also present some solution on your side. And then at the end, you have to summarize all the points that you have already mentioned and conclude it with a good positive thought. Each paragraph should focus on a distinct area and argument. Make sure that your all the paragraphs have distinct ideas and arguments and they are linked to each other in a coherent way, in a logical way, right? Then the third point you have to remember is you have to provide strong arguments and evidence. You cannot write things just because they are in your mind or just because you think that it could be true. You have to support your statements with proofs, you have to support them with relevant examples. If you don't have examples, if you don't have the data, do not write it. Okay, so you have to present data, you have to present case studies, you have to present relevant examples which you have read in the newspapers or in the books or in any article, right? So this demonstrates that you understand the topic, not just understand, but you also follow it scientifically, you analyze it very empirically, and it's not just something that is made up in your mind, right? It reinforces the points effectively. Also use credible sources to substantiate your claims. Make sure that whatever source you are using to present the data is a credible source. It should not be a fake news, because this is a very big issue. There are things that circulate on WhatsApp, on other social media, and they are not necessarily true always, right? So you have to make sure that whatever statement you are writing, whatever claim you are making in the essay, it has to have a credible source. You also have to ensure accuracy in your information, right? Then the fourth point is you have to do critical analysis and write balanced perspectives, because sometimes you might find an essay topic which is a little bit political, which could be a little bit controversial. For example, uniform civil code. Now, irrespective of what your personal opinion about that topic is, you should not reflect in your essay. You should be able to be unbiased. You should be able to be someone who can analyze something in both perspectives. You can write the positives as well as the negatives of certain of a particular issue. So that different perspective and the different viewpoints you have to be able to maintain. It shows that you are a balanced headed person, you have a balanced viewpoint, you are not a very biased person, है ना, यो एक तरफा नहीं है, ये आपको दिखाना है ना. सो अवॉइड बायस्ड ओपिनियंस, अवॉइड नेमिंग नेम्स, किसी पर्टिकुलर पर्सन का नाम लेके गाली देना या उसके बारे में बात करना, गलत बातें करना, ये भी अवॉइड करना है. And the last point you have to remember is there should be clarity, consciousness, and language. So this is where the English understanding comes into picture. Your sentences should be concise. बहुत बार क्या होता है, हम लोग जैसे सोचते हैं वैसे लिखना शुरू कर देते हैं. The thought, the train of thought in your mind reflects in the answer paper, in the answer key, in the answers. So basically you frame the sentences that they go on for a long time. You add commas and a comma after comma, and then you create those sentences, which is not the right way to write a good essay. You have to use precise language, you have to communicate your ideas very effectively. So avoid words that you feel are very plush, or posh words, fancy words. You don't have to write them all the time just because you know a certain fancy word, because it unnecessarily makes your sentences over complicated. Sometimes you might mess up in the spelling mistakes, in the spellings of the words. So you have to be very careful in that sense. That may obscure your message. तो जो मैसेज आपको कन्वे करना है ना, एग्जामिनर को एक बार में पढ़ते ही आपका ऐसे समझ में आना चाहिए कि क्या लिखा है, what exactly are you trying to convey. Just because you're using difficult words, it doesn't mean that your essay becomes effective. All right. Ensure that your essay flows logically and maintains coherence throughout. As I said earlier, your essay should flow logically. It should have a logical sequence, and you have to maintain the coherence, right? Now we'll look at the essay. Now this is the topic that we are going to choose. It is often said that computerization results in unemployment. Do you agree? Explain. Now you can start the introduction by giving the definition of the word computerization, because it comes from the title itself. What is computerization? The integration of digital technology into various sectors. So whatever sectors we work in, be it service sector, hospitality, medicine, law sector, legal sector, finance sector, education sector, whatever, इन सभी सेक्टर्स में डिजिटल एजुकेशन का, डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी का इंटीग्रेशन, राइट, इट इज कॉल्ड कंप्यूटराइजेशन. And it has been both hailed as a revolutionary advancement and criticized for its potential to cause unemployment. So basically the sentence itself tells that how you are looking it from a balanced perspective. दोनों तरीके के लोग होते हैं, एक जो बोलते हैं कि एक एडवांसमेंट है, रेवोल्यूशन है, और दूसरे जो बोलते हैं कि नहीं नहीं बहुत सारे जॉब्स जाएंगे, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ेगा. The debate surrounding computerization's impact on jobs is complex. So this debate that you are talking about, it's not an easy debate. It's a complex debate, because there are arguments on both sides which are supported by facts and examples both. While it is true that computerization can lead to job displacement, ये बात सच है कि computerization की वजह से jobs चली जाएंगी, displacement होंगे. But it is equally important to recognize its role in creating new opportunities and transforming the workforce. Because when something takes away jobs, it also creates new jobs, be it in some other sector, है ना. तो इसका आप यहाँ पर बैलेंस पर्सपेक्टिव लिख सकते हैं. एक एग्जाम्पल अगर आपको देना है तो यू कैन ऑल्सो गिव द एग्जाम्पल्स ऑफ कैलकुलेटर्स. इनिशियली व्हेन कैलकुलेटर्स केम, it was said that the jobs of accountants and people who crunch the numbers, the jobs will be lost, but that did not happen. Calculators still existed, they still continue to exist, and then there are jobs also, because the accountants then changed themselves. They had to modify their work, they had to modify their knowledge, skill based, and then find something else. So ऐसा नहीं है कि jobs बहुत ही चले जाते हैं. So this is one example that you can add here if you want to. One of the primary concerns regarding computerization is its ability to replace human labor with machines. So the whole concern is about the computerization processes. Human labor को replace करता है machines के साथ, particularly in tasks which are routine and repetitive, जो बार बार repeat करने वाले tasks होते हैं. For example, automation of manufacturing processes through robotics has significantly reduced the demand for manual labor in factories. Similarly, in banking sector, the advent of ATMs and online banking services has diminished the need for bank tellers, people who sit in the banks who hand out the cash. right? These examples highlight how computerization can lead to elimination of certain jobs. There are only certain jobs which can be in the threat of getting lost. For example, jobs that require repetitive tasks and routine tasks, which does not require skill set as such. Once you get that thing, you can do it for the rest of your life. So these examples are some examples, and contributing to unemployment in only specific sectors. However, it is also crucial to consider that computerization also transforms the nature of work, because any kind of computerization, any kind of new technology, it is associated with transformation of work. So leading to creation of new roles and industries. For example, in the rise of IT sector has generated millions of jobs in software development. कंप्यूटर आने के बाद सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट में जॉब्स बढ़ गए हैं ना, साइबर सिक्योरिटी में जॉब्स बढ़ गए हैं, डेटा एनालिसिस, आजकल डेटा एनालिटिक्स बहुत चल रहा है, machine learning, fields that did not exist before the digital revolution. So whenever a revolution comes, whenever a technological revolution comes, the fields which were non-existent before, they come into being, and then they create jobs. Moreover, the automation of routine tasks frees up human resource, and this routine task is basically what monotonous tasks that people are doing one day after the other. So वो free up हो जाता है, ह्यूमन रिसोर्स जो है वो फोकस कर सकता है ज्यादा कॉम्प्लेक्स एंड क्रिएटिव एंडेवर्स में, which can lead to higher productivity and job satisfaction. Because if you are stuck up in a repetitive job, it does not give you job satisfaction, it does not increase your productivity. So basically, when people get freed up from these repetitive tasks, they can focus on more complicated and creative things, which can give them that job satisfaction that they require. The impact of computerization on unemployment largely depends on the workforce ability to adapt. So basically, this whole impact that we are talking about, it depends on how adaptable the workforce is. Because the world keeps on changing. If you look at the history of the world, it has never been the same for 50 continuous years. It has changed in every 50 years, every 100 years, especially if you look at the last 400-500 years, right? And now we have reached a stage where the world changes in the span of what, 4 or 5 years, right? So we are heading towards a world which is going to change every 2 years, every 1 year maybe. So you have to be, the workforce has to be adaptable. It has to show that they are open to changing their way of working. Workers who possess skills that are complementary to computerization, such as programming, data management, problem solving, are more likely to benefit from this digital transformation. So for example, the demand for data scientists and machine learning engineers has surged in recent years. See, exactly what I was trying to say. So in the last couple of years, couple of months, if you see, people who have done data science and people who have done machine learning, they are getting placed in companies and they are getting good salary packages, driven by the growing reliance on big data and artificial intelligence. On the other hand, workers who are unable to or unwilling to acquire new skills may find themselves at a disadvantage in the job market. So basically, who are at disadvantage? People who are not ready to change themselves, or people who are unable to change themselves. They are not ready to acquire new skill sets. So that basically comes down to your ability to adapt. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप अडेप्ट नहीं कर सकते और एक बार एक सर्टन एज के बाद कुछ नई चीज नहीं सीख सकते. इट्स जस्ट योर मेंटल स्टेट, है ना. एट द एज ऑफ 40-50 ऑल्सो देर आर पीपल हु आर eager to learn new things, eager to learn new technology. So it should basically, it becomes a part of adaptation. So in conclusion, computerization does result in displacement of certain jobs, but also creates new opportunities. It reshapes the workforce in a way. It can lead to economic growth and innovation. The key to mitigating the negative effects of computerization lies in education and training. So essentially, we come down to that: education and training, adaptation. So you have to ensure that workers are equipped with skills that are needed to thrive in a digital economy. Rather than viewing computerization as a threat to employment, it should be embraced as a catalyst for progress. So this is what your opinion should look like. Don't look at computerization as a threat to unemployment. Look at it as a catalyst for progress, because there are jobs which are going to get created, and focus on preparing workforce for the challenges and opportunities of the future. फ्यूचर में नए चैलेंजेस होंगे, नई नई अपॉर्चुनिटीज होंगी, उसके लिए वर्कफोर्स तैयार करना है, rather than complain about things that are of the past and that are of no use as such, right? So this is how you can write an ideal essay on this particular topic of artificial intelligence taking away jobs or computers taking away jobs. Now we will go to the second question. Now this is the question that they have given as a sample question. SEBI has given this as a sample question. Part 2 consists of Précis writing. Write a Précis on the following passage in about 120 words and give it a suitable title. Now what exactly is a Précis writing? They will give you a big paragraph such as this one, and you have to read the entire paragraph thoroughly, and you have to crunch it down in 120 words. This paragraph probably is around 300 words, and you have to crunch it down. You have to make a shorthand of this article and write only the crux of it, write only the important parts of it. Also you have to give it a suitable title according to you. Now before writing the Précis and before reading this paragraph, I would just quickly want to discuss a few points regarding how to write an effective Précis. These are some tips. You can note them down. You can take a screenshot. I will send this PDF on the Telegram channel, but you can write them down as you are reading. So the first point is you have to read the passage carefully, because if you don't read it multiple times, you do not understand its overall meaning. You do not understand the main points or the main structure. Also you need to understand the tone and the style of the original text, so that you easily distinguish which information is relevant and which information is irrelevant. So you have to identify the main ideas, because when you are trying to convert 100 words into 30 words, you have to eliminate 70 words, and it is not a very easy task, because everything seems to be very important. So you should be able to develop that acumen of what exactly is the main argument, what exactly is the thesis statement and the central idea of the passage, and what can be eliminated. Supporting details kya hai? So you have to take note of important supporting details, and these details should be included in the Précis by maintaining the original meaning. Okay, not just the main idea, but you can also maintain the supporting ideas in short, but you have to be able to eliminate the redundant options. This is a very, very, very important point. Option number 4, point number 4. Because if you are not able to remove unnecessary examples, unnecessary words, unnecessary statements, then you do not contribute significantly to the Précis writing. So you have to focus on the essential points only. And the next important point is you have to use your own words, because I have seen so many people who copy the original text word for word verbatim, जैसे के तैसे sentence copy करते हैं, which is not the right way of writing a Précis. So you have to write the Précis in your own words. The sentences should be your own, but you have to maintain the original passage and the meaning and the tone, but you cannot copy the phrases, or you cannot copy the sentences verbatim यानी कि वैसे के वैसे शब्दशः copy नहीं कर सकते. Okay, then you have to maintain a logical flow. Also you have to be very concise and precise while writing the statements. Aim to reduce the length of the original passage by at least 1/3 to 1/4. Now 1/4 करना बहुत मुश्किल है ना. 100 वर्ड्स का 25 वर्ड्स करना मुश्किल हो जाता है, बट 30 वर्ड्स 1/3 या 33 वर्ड्स टू बी प्रिसाइज, ये चल सकता है ना. So in that sense you have to be concise. Then also you have to check for accuracy. Review the Précis by ensuring, or to ensure that you have accurately represented the message of the original paragraph, and you have to make sure that no information which is essential is omitted, and that the Précis is free from errors, any spelling error or any grammatical error. And lastly you have to write a suitable title. Now in the question itself they have given you that you have to give a suitable title. Now if we read the paragraph, you guys can go ahead and read it. Christian Reed, a project manager, has worked at the Tata Steel plant, Britain's biggest, for 11 years. His father worked in a local steel factory for 40 years, and his grandfather was a foundry worker. It's very difficult to contemplate losing the plant, he says. It would be like losing a member of the family. The fate of his job and those of around 4,300 other Port Talbot steel workers, as well as Britain's loss-making steel industry in general, have become the most poignant part of the political row that has erupted in Britain since Tata Steel, Britain's biggest producer, said in late March that it planned to sell or close its operations in the country. Opposition politicians have demanded that the government engineer a rescue यानी कि यहाँ पर रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन को इंजीनियर करो, रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन को बनाओ, तैयार करो, either by erecting high tariff walls against cheap steel imports as America has done, or by doing or by going for some sort of nationalization as Italy has attempted with the ill-started Ilva plant in the heel of the country. On April 5th, a potential rescuer, Sanjeev Gupta of Liberty House, a commodity trading company, said he was interested in buying the Port Talbot business, though he wants plenty of government sweeteners before doing so. He has called Britain's steel industry probably the worst in the world. There are few parts of rich world where steel remains a good business, however. Port Talbot's woes means problems, are indicative of a global problem, especially in places where makers of unspecialized steel face competition from cheaper producers. Right? In the eyes of many people, including the Welsh steel workers, the main boogeyman is China. Boogeyman is a person who is causing trouble. Where steel output has ballooned, the country has produced more steel in 2 years than Britain since 1900, according to the International Steel Statistics Bureau, and is indeed awash with excess capacity. But this is part of a phenomenon that extends across the developing world. The OECD, a club mostly of rich countries, reckons that in the 4 years of 2007, in the 4 years to 2017, steel making capacity will have grown by 50% in the Middle East, 20% in Africa, 10% in Latin America. Meanwhile, sorry. So यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है देखिए, meanwhile China led slowdown in developing economies and oil prices which have hit a use of steel in rigs and pipelines mean that demand is severely lagging supply. Even in India, which is supposed to be the bright spot of global steel market, demand growth is unlikely to recover to levels in the years before 2010, when it embarked on a debt-fueled infrastructure construction binge. So when you read the paragraph, you think about how the Tata Steel plant in Britain is about to get shut down. There is a person, Christian Reed, who has been a project manager there. He is giving a statement that the closing of plant is like losing a member of the family. Then the problem with the entire steel industry in Britain. Then there is some Sanjeev Gupta person of the Liberty House, which is a commodity trading company, who is interested in buying this whole business, but he wants some other favors from the government, right? And then we have mentioned about what is the problem in this whole industry. There are some solutions as well mentioned by some of them. For example, nationalization of the business, like Italy has done, or like America has done. You have to put high tariff walls against cheap steel imports. Then the whole problem is about China, because how China has ballooned the output. China has created more steel in 2 years than Britain has created since 1900. Hai. So this is the big problem. Then what exactly could be the phenomenon in throughout the world? What is the scene in developing countries? What is the scene in Middle East? Exactly. And then what is the scene in India? In last sentence इंडिया के बारे में है कि इंडिया में भी जो एक प्रकार एक जमाने में ब्राइट स्पॉट हुआ करता था ग्लोबल स्टील मार्केट में, इंडिया में भी जो डिमांड ग्रोथ है वो रिकवर नहीं होने वाली. 2010 के पहले जितने हाई नंबर्स थे वो नहीं होगा. एंड ये जो है वो प्रॉब्लम जो है वो यहाँ पर बताया गया. राइट, दिस इज द पैराग्राफ. नाउ हाउ टू राइट एन आइडियल प्रेसी. So let's go to the answer here. Now the title that you can give is the struggle of Britain's steel industry, because most of the paragraph talks about Britain and Britain's steel industry. Yes, agreed that we are talking about China in some parts. We are also talking about Middle East, Latin America, Africa, India. But if you see, this is just 2 or 3 sentences in the entire paragraph. Most of the paragraph, almost 70% of the paragraph, talks about the problems in Britain, the problems of steel industry in Britain. So Britain की steel industry के problems हैं, struggle है basically. So this is how you can write. Christian Reed, whose family has deep roots in British steel industry, faces the possible closure of Tata Steel plant where he works. This closure threatens the jobs of 4,300 workers and has sparked political debate in Britain. Opposition parties urge the government to either protect the industry through tariffs and or consider nationalization. So see, we are covering how they are proposing high tariffs like America did, or how they are proposing nationalization like Italy did. How many people are going to lose their jobs? Now we are also mentioning this Sanjeev Gupta person, a potential buyer, expressed interest in buying the plant but criticized Britain's steel industry. His statement that this is the worst in the world. He has criticized Britain's steel industry. The steel industry worldwide is struggling, especially due to competition from cheaper producers like China. And despite growing capacity in the developing world, global steel demand is not keeping pace, exacerbating the industry's woes. And see, we have strategically eliminated the part where we are talking about Latin America, Middle East, India, Africa, because it's not a very big concern. China we have mentioned because China is the whole problem why the British steel industry is suffering, because it is a cheap producer, and that is why the competition is there. So despite growing capacity in the developing world has a capacity to use and utilize steel, but the global steel demand is not keeping pace. So demand is not keeping pace despite the industry, and that is why the problem is exacerbating, the problem is increasing. There is no solution as such given. Some solutions were given in the form of suggestions, but that is again by the opposition parties, right? So this is how you can write a Précis. It shows that you can crunch up the text, you can read a paragraph of 1000 words and convert it into 300 word paragraph. You can read a paragraph of 300 words and convert it into 120 word paragraph. Okay, so this is what they are testing. So this is an ideal way of writing a Précis. Now the next third question is you have to read the passage carefully and answer the questions that follow. All right, now this is the passage of reading comprehension. So basically you will be given paragraph. This is the paragraph, and just below the paragraph they give you three questions. So you have to read the entire paragraph and write the answers of all three questions. This is a very simple reading comprehension based question. So you can start reading the passage, or you can just go through the questions first. The first question asks, what does the term bureaucratic paperwork refer to? So here if you see bureaucratic paperwork, you will find your answer to question number 1 in this part of the paragraph. Then they have asked how has electronic revolution helped organizations in day-to-day activities? इलेक्ट्रॉनिक रेवोल्यूशन ने ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को उनके डे टू डे एक्टिविटीज में कैसे मदद की है ना? सो यू हैव टू फाइंड आउट दैट. एंड व्हाट इज आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस? What is called artificial intelligence? So here probably you will get the answer to the third question, right? So we can read the paragraph. In this age, when the popular involvement of day-to-day matters is mounting, it is the electronic systems that offer us potential service infrastructure which could, with careful programming, probably take care of a very large element of what we describe as mechanical procedural governance without all the distortions, corruptions and harassments which constitute the daily misery of average citizen. तो यहाँ पर डे टू डे मैटर्स की हम बात कर रहे हैं. सो पोटेंशियली फर्स्ट आंसर, सेकेंड क्वेश्चन का जो आंसर है वो यहाँ पर आपको मिलेगा. Of course, the electronic systems will only behave to the extent that they are properly programmed, but this is no impossible task today. Once we move our minds beyond the mere use of electronic revolution for business efficiency and higher profitabilities and apply it to the task of reducing the routine, repetitive activities of governance, we will conserve time and energy for more important and creative tasks. In other words, electronic revolution can make for better and more effective handling of real everyday problems, additionally providing basic service to computerized information banks. तो सेकेंड पैराग्राफ में भी कुछ पार्ट जो है वो आपको सेकेंड क्वेश्चन का आंसर लिखने में मदद कर सकता है. Then the third paragraph says, even in less developed countries, the potential for electronic network to take over a great deal of what is called bureaucratic paperwork has been vividly demonstrated. Licensing system involves endless form filing in endless copies, tax matters which baffle millions of citizens, particularly those who have nothing to hide, education system which requires massive supervisory mobilizations, or referendums based on minuscule samples which seldom reflect the reality of social base. At all these points, the electronic advantage is seen and recognized. However, we must proceed further. It is possible to foresee a situation where the citizen, with his personalized computer entry card, his number, is able to enter the electronic network for a variety of needs, now serviced by regiments of officials, high and low. Indeed, this is already happening in a number of countries. From simple needs, we will move to more complex servings and ultimately into creativity and what is called artificial intelligence. So, this is a paragraph which talks about electronic network, how it can function, how it can operate in different scenarios, also what is going to be in the future, right? So the first question is, what does the term bureaucratic paperwork refer to? So the answer, what does the term bureaucratic paperwork refer to, you can answer, write the answer like this: the term bureaucratic paperwork refers to the tedious and repetitive administrative tasks that involve filing of endless forms, processing licenses, managing tax matters, and supervising elections. These tasks are typically handled by a large number of officials, and they are often associated with inefficiency, delays, and complications for average citizens. है ना? So you don't have to write exactly word to word from the passage, you can write it in your own words. Then the second question they ask, how has electronic revolution helped organizations in a day-to-day activities? So the answer that you can write is, the electronic revolution has helped organizations by improving business efficiency and profitability. It has the potential to reduce routine and repetitive tasks in governance, conserving time and energy for more important and creative tasks. So additionally, it has also demonstrated the ability to take over bureaucratic paperwork such as licensing, tax matters, and election processes, thereby streamlining operations and reducing the need for large-scale supervision. So you can continue this part where we are talking about the bureaucratic paperwork in this sentence as well, in this answer as well, how to write this: electronic revolution has helped organizations in day-to-day activities. So this is a lengthy sentence, so this is how you can write it. And the third question is, what is artificial intelligence? The answer can be, artificial intelligence refers to advanced stage of electronic revolution where computers and electronic systems, they move beyond the basic services to complex tasks and creativity. It involves machines performing tasks that would require human intelligence, such as decision making, problem solving, learning, ultimately enhancing the efficiency and capability of electronic systems. So this is how you can write the answers. So essentially what they are trying to figure out here is, by reading the paragraph, how much are you able to understand the subtle nuances, how much are you able to understand the implied meanings of these sentences. And it requires practice. Obviously it requires a good understanding of English, it requires a good understanding of the words that are written in the passage. तो आपकी vocabulary भी टेस्ट हो रही है, आपका comprehension ability टेस्ट हो रहा है. So phase 2 exam of SEBI or any regulatory bodies for that matter will have such questions: essay writing, Précis writing, and reading comprehension. And I hope this session helped you getting an idea as to how to approach all these questions. Obviously, I will be giving you some more topics to write, topics of essays which could be potential essays for the upcoming SEBI exams. But do follow me on Telegram. This is my Telegram group here. As you can see, QR code से join कर सकते हैं. My English lectures happen every Monday to Friday at 10 p.m. on this channel. So if you are preparing for other grade B exams and SEBI exams for next year as well, so you can join me in those sessions, because 10 p.m. we do English practice questions for phase 1 exams, and this was a special lecture for the phase 2 preparation. Okay, so thank you so much all of you for watching this video. I hope you liked the video and I hope it helped you in some way. Now before ending the session, just a quick reminder, like and share the video with your friends. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed. And if you want to join our paid batches, the RBI crash course has been launched. We also have a Laksh batch, which is a long-term batch for 1 year. So you can join those batches. You will find the link in the description. Testbook, Super Coaching, Regulatory Bodies. And you can use my coupon code for maximum discount. KAUSTUBH. Kaustubh, this is my coupon code. इसे आप यूज करेंगे तो मैक्सिमम डिस्काउंट आपको मिलेगा. ठीक है? This is for those who are preparing for exams next year. All right, so that is all for today from my side. Thank you so much once again, and I'll see you in the next lectures. Take care, guys. Bye bye. Have a good day.